My Ghanaian name is Kwabena. I feel like I'm a warrior. It's in my soul. Life is a journey and you can learn as you go.
How did you develop your love for music?
I wanted to write music where I would tell a story and people could go to a certain place. I think it's in my bones, I think it's in my blood, I think it's in my DNA to be a musician coming from Ghana.
We be up in the club, VIP, we ain't never lining up. Fast life, what you know about us? The killer really got a nigga drunk on floor. Vodka, old scotch in my cup. See our face and know who we are. No less 10 shots at the bar. Me and Roberts in the house, every city superstar.
Hi, I'm Elina Reddy and welcome to Foreign Influence.
Thought about it. It doesn't.
We're good. Drama, controversy. So she was the driver for
getting back to his physical back. Because
He's gonna love to design all that thing. People who trusted me with sharing their stories. Hi, I'm Elina Reddy and welcome to Foreign Influence. Ooh, who have we got here? A famous musician, Kayo Marbilus. Oh, welcome. How are you today?
Good, thank you.
How do you like this venue, Village Bell in
This is
St Kilda?
unbelievable. The natural light, beautiful day today in St Kilda. Lovely to be here.
Well, do you want to go and have a chat?
Let's do it.
Did you sleep well?
Yeah, like a baby.
Yes? Oh,
yeah.
that's good.
I made sure I got some good sleep, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's Friday night, the start of the weekend, right? Gotta go home, get dressed, go to the club, pour a drink and have a hell of a night. Gotta get my hair done right. Vodka, pretty drinks in my red cup. Keep pouring, don't stop till I say enough. 9 to 5 work days can be so tough. We're living life in the fast lane. Champagne, everything to forget pain. Get money, keep a stash for a rainy day. And blow it all like we getting paid every day. So if you're really trying to celebrate, tell the waiter bring a bottle over my way. Go hard for tonight like your birthday. Now let's play.
Live life in the fast lane, that's what we about. So liquor to my section right now. We gon' have us a hell of a night. Yeah, we gon' have us a hell of a night. Yeah, gotta make us see the life of the party. We just came to have
Kayo Marbilus, you were born in Ghana and you arrived in Australia at the age of 2 with your parents. I imagine it was quite an experience for them. Do you remember any stories that they told you in childhood about their immigration?
We settled in Australia in December 1985. I was 2 years old. I came here with my 3 older siblings. I got 3 older sisters. We lived in a small town called Lithgow, which is about 2.5 hours west out of Sydney in the Blue Mountains. We were first generation Africans living in Australia. When you're growing up as a child, you're very non-aware of certain things. But as I got older, I learned a few stories and a few things, a few challenges that my parents had to go through, of course, coming from a different culture and having to adapt to a very Anglo-Saxon type of environment. Yeah, my dad was an engineer slash worked for the Department of Defence. That was his background. We moved to Canberra when I was 4 in the late 80s. And my dad worked for the Department of Defence for 20 years and accumulated many numerous different degrees in that period of time. And my mother was a cleaner at the Parliament House, Canberra, and she worked there from the time it opened up until 2009 when they left to move back to Ghana. Growing up in Australia, being a first-generation African, first-generation Ghanaian, living in Australia was a challenge for myself personally. I did, face a few obstacles as a child growing up. I was always a confident child and always a confident kid growing up, and I was lucky to have and blessed to have numerous friends from all different nationalities. But in my early ages, especially like when I was like 7, 8, 9, I did go through a bit of a few obstacles myself personally, such as racism, things like that. Those type of things that I went through as a child was what definitely made me who I am today and projected me into the direction of becoming a musician, which started off with songwriting to have a positive outlet in regards to my emotions and things that I was going through, and obviously telling my stories.
What was the situation like in Ghana that they had to leave behind?
My parents didn't leave for any negative reasons. My father was a well-educated man who had travelled to different countries before we settled in Australia. He went to Russia to do schooling. He's lived in London. He just wanted a better life for us and just to have a better understanding of the world. And my mother, on my mother's side, she actually came from a well-off family. My grandfather on my mother's side was a man who traded in gold and business in that kind of aspect of things. So
how interesting.
Very interesting. So I think I took a bit of my, if you want to talk about genetics, maybe my grandfather's side in regards to having to hustle, and then my dad's side in regards to work ethics and working hard. And one thing my dad taught me was anything you want in life, you got to get it yourself because no one's going to help you. Putting those two together, my parents pretty much came to Australia because they just wanted a better life for us 4 siblings, myself and my 3 older sisters. And that's pretty much why we migrated to Australia in December 1985.
What was
in the
it
suburb.
like with the language?
My parents spoke Ghanaian to me from when I was a baby. So growing up, I always spoke English and Ghanaian. It came also I'm bilingual and that thing. My English was just like this. My parents are also well educated, so my parents spoke perfectly good English and spoke Ghanaian as well. So I was very blessed. And even to this day, even though I'm a musician who raps and sings in English, I speak fluent Ghanaian as well. Growing up in Australia, there was a large Ghanaian community in Sydney and a smaller Ghanaian community in Canberra. So from when we moved to Australia, my memory goes back to when I was 3, constantly going to Sydney over the years, spending many, many times in Sydney over the years. So you speak in Ghanaian to elders, people you classify as your uncle and auntie, you speak Ghanaian to them and to obviously my siblings. But then obviously I'm speaking English at school and with friends.
What were your main interests as a child growing up?
When I was a child, my main interest, funny enough, was the arts. Looking back now, obviously as I evolved to be a musician, looking back to my old report cards and looking back to certain things teacher had written down, one of the things they said was I'm starting to take a strong interest in music, and that was in the first grade, so I would have been like 6 or 7.
Kayo, your favorite city in the world?
Los Angeles,
Why?
full of magic and opportunities, the world of many, many, many wonders and opportunities.
Your favorite dish?
Chicken and rice.
Favorite dessert?
Chocolate, anything chocolate. Chocolate cake.
Your ideal date? Movies?
Dinner,
Yeah.
a nice view, nice quiet, calm music, calm, peaceful atmosphere.
What qualities do you treasure the most in people?
Loyalty, honesty, kindness.
Up early, can't sleep because she came late. My world, if you showed love, then they show hate. Murder at awards night, then I met her family. Person Aria, a Logie, pray for Grammys. Nightmares to pipe dreams, do you understand me? Dreaming, one more like nicotine, tell the paparazzi. She on top, riding hard like Kawasaki. 2 fingers up, screaming, fuck haters, come stop me. Take a trip, girl, anywhere you wanna go. We both sick, girl, I got the antidote. It's murder she wrote and blood on the envelope. If you Juliet, then I can be your Romeo. Yeah, turn up the gear, girl, riding kinda slow. Turn words to pictures, girl, call me Michelangelo. Your past make you stronger. don't regret it. Pray to the Lord, he said, boy, girl, can I take it out? See what you about. I've been out here on the grind, working hard, trying to shine, Lord. One day, right by my side, do or die, body I can be applied. Come ride with the real one. My heart stay cold where I came from. So let's go, girl, we can slide. Between me and you and I, on the inside. See what you about. I've been out here on the grind, working hard, trying to shine, Lord. One day, right by my side, do or die, body I can be applied.
How did you develop your love for music?
My love for music started probably when I was in high school, and I would listen to obviously various different artists and things like that. But when I got to about 14, 15, I just started having an interest in writing poetry. I just enjoyed the art of storytelling and what I was going through emotionally and things like that. Music for me started probably in primary school, just the feeling, how it made me feel, and just being able to take myself to a different place. And as I got older and I started to write my own music, I wanted to do that in return. I wanted to write music where I would tell a story and people could go to a certain place. So that was it.
Did you know you were going to become a musician?
No, I didn't. At the beginning, when I first started writing poetry, it was just for fun. It was just a positive outlet in regards to what I was going through. And then from about 15 to about 20, 21, I was just writing music, writing poetry, writing lyrics, writing poetry. And then when I got to my early 20s, I was like, you know what? I think I want to give this a go. And then I just started putting, songs together, lyrics and choruses and things like that, and putting over the beats. And then from about 21 up until now, I've just been, it's just been a slow journey process.
What's the story behind your first album?
My first album. The story behind my first album was just a bit of a breakthrough. I knew at some point I was going to have to put an album together. It was accumulation of pretty much my life. The story of my first album was accumulation of my life. There's stories in there from when I was a child. There's stories in there from when I came to Australia. There's stories in there from primary school up until my early adult years. It's pretty much just a story about life, and just what I have gone through and what I want to achieve.
You're not only a performer, you're also a manager, you're brand manager, you're a composer, you are everything. How do you juggle it all? And what's the biggest challenge? Out of all these hats you have to wear, what's the one that you find the most challenging?
As a person that has to wear numerous hats, first of all, I was able to accumulate all these skills because I had to do it myself. I've never had a manager, I've never had an agent. I had to learn how to manage myself, how to market myself, and through that, as people see on social media, I learned how to promote other businesses and stuff online, which I do as a side hustle. I couldn't really sit there and wait for someone else to help me. So what I would do is, as the years progressed, I just learnt little skills. I taught myself how to write the music. I taught myself how to co-produce. So I go into the studio with the producer and I'd co-produce, which would mean telling him how I wanted to sound, layers, putting layers on the choruses, putting layers on the vocals, things like that. So it's not really a matter of how, it's a matter of no other choice really, just having to keep being persistent and moving forward and accumulating those skills over the years.
I wonder, what did it feel like when you found out that your song was listed on Aria Charts?
It was a lovely thing. When I found out my music was going to be on the Aria Charts, I couldn't believe it. I think I manifested it because about a year or two before that, I had said to myself I wanted to try and get on the Aria Charts. I wasn't sure how I was going to do it. At that time in 2014, I was just doing hip hop and rap, and I reached out to about 20, 30 house, garage, dance DJs, and out of all of them, one of them got back to me. He's actually a local Canberra DJ as well, and he had been on the Aria Charts before. So to make a long story short, we ended up working together, and we managed to put together over 12 months 4 songs, 4 club songs that each got on the Aria Charts from between 2014 to 2015. It was amazing, and from that point onwards, I knew my title had gone from recording artist to Aria Charts recording artist.
Wow,
so
incredible.
it was good to see my name on the charts there. It was a really beautiful thing.
Also, we haven't talked about it, but after school, did you have any formal music education?
No.
So you are completely self-taught?
No, completely self-taught.
Wow.
Yeah, completely self-taught. From song structure to marketing myself, it's all about reaching out, really. I think the main key ethics is just believing in yourself, working hard, networking as we are doing here today, just to don't close doors, open up all avenues of possibility, and pretty much just understand that life is a journey. It's all a journey, and you can learn as you go. What you learn at that moment of time isn't what all that's going to be there. As the years progress, you'll learn different things, different skills as well.
Let's go. Come on. Late nights, watch how I get by. Take anything tonight just to get fly. Sky high, the bird catch the worm. Chop it up, roll it up, let it burn. Take a hit, pass around my turn. It's 4:20, trying to get my mind right. Hit the bar in the club, have a big night. Neighborhood fame, what it look like. Everybody show us love, bright lights. KO shots, KO shotgun. VIP back room, taking off bras. Middle finger to the haters, you know who we are. Fast city in the house, real superstars. Fast life, right lane, we'll be in the car. Celebrate, thank God that we made it. 12 a.m., we faded. Where did my night go? Where did my clothes go? Where did my wallet go? Where did my drugs go? Where did my night go? Where did my friends go? Where did my girl go? Where did I go?
Kayo, I have looked at your Instagram and I am obsessed with your tattoos. Tell me about them.
My tattoos, my full sleeve arm here is all religion. So I've got the Virgin Mary, Archangel Michael, Jesus Christ there. I've got the hands praying. So it's all religion. This side's all music.
Okay.
My full back is Christ the Redeemer.
Yeah, from Brazil.
From Brazil.
Yep.
And then on this side, I've got the California state, because I love Los Angeles, as I was saying. And this side, I've got an Apache Indian. I feel like I'm a warrior. It's in my soul. On my chest, I've got Hollywood. I've got the Los Angeles Raiders symbol. And I've got a few other bits and pieces. So the majority of my theme is something that resonates with me spiritually, emotionally, and physically as well. Places I've been, like I've said, I've got a strong connection with Los Angeles and California. So that's what that's for. And then the music and the religion is a real big, it's like a balance in what makes me who I am. Music and religion has pretty much made me who I am today.
I love how much strategy is involved in the placement. How do you and where do you find your inspiration?
I found my inspiration with my music and lyrics just through life. People always sometimes say they have certain artists that they listen to. I think I got inspiration of hope through listening to artists. That was inspiration from just, oh, I want to be like that particular artist. But in regards to...
Give us three. Which
three artists?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
man.
Quick, don't think too long.
Three artists. Tupac, when he was alive, obviously. Tupac, I used to listen to a lot. I admired him. Snoop Dogg, who's still relevant now, but he was really popular back in those 90s and early 2000s. There's a few other groups like Mobb Deep, Wu-Tang, a lot of New York New York rappers of that time that I used to idolize and look up to and just look at their music, and it would take me to a place like, man, I want to be like that one day. I want to have my music known everywhere, you know? So those were the immediate artists I used to look up to. But then also just in regards to breaking it down, just life experiences and wanting to tell my story.
Kayo, how did your birth country, Ghana, influence your music?
Growing up in the household, there was a lot of African music being played in the home, but also when we go to like African parties. But I think where it actually comes from is, I think, within inside me. I think the rhythm, the knack for just rhythm and dance and things like that, I think it's genetic. I think it's in my bones. I think it's in my blood. I think it's in my DNA to be a musician, coming from Ghana, of course. I don't play the African drums. I don't play the djembe drums, which come from Ghana. I think I was always going to be a musician of some sort. When I was younger, I did try to play the guitar and do piano and things like that, but it just wasn't for me. But I somehow managed to progress into lyrics and songwriting and music, and obviously being a singer.
What cultural traditions do you follow in your family home?
because I come from the Ashanti, we come from an Ashanti tribe. My Ghanaian name is Kwabena, which means Tuesday. I was born on a Tuesday.
How interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So coming from the Ashanti, Asantini tribe, traditionally from my household, you get named after the day that you're born. So my father and I have the same Ghanaian name, and my older sisters also have a Ghanaian name as well and an English name. Culturally, the dress, the kente cloth is a cultural thing that we have as well, which I have at home. I don't wear it as much as I should. I grew up listening to Afro beats as well. I think one of the biggest cultural things that I've taken and it's developed into my adult life is just to work hard, to work the work ethics, to know where you've come from, knowing that people in other countries, in Ghana as well, and other countries around the world, third world countries aren't as fortunate as us. So that was one of the driving forces as well for me to keep going, to make the best that I can and could of my environment, which was Australia. And here I am today.
What is the unique experience that you have had up to now that you will remember forever?
In Canberra, where I'm from, we had our very first music awards in 2012 and 2013. I was fortunate enough to be nominated to be Hip Hop Artist of the Year in 2012, which I won the award for. That was the pinnacle. Thank you very much. That was the pinnacle moment in my time because I was still living in Canberra and I was doing everything from Canberra, small town, 500,000 people. Coming from a small town like that, it's hard to try and break through and people to take you serious. So when I got that award in 2012, it really made me say to myself, okay, I've got a chance here of really making this happen. Pinnacle moment. The other pinnacle moment that I had was 2018 when I got approached by Channel 7 to be a judge on a TV show called All Together Now, to be a music industry professional. Once again, that was a very big pinnacle moment, a pinching moment. 5 years later, I still have those moments where I go, I can't believe I was on TV. Once again, I was the only person from Canberra to be chosen. And all that done for me was just showing me that everything I've been doing over the years wasn't in vain, wasn't for nothing. And it was a beautiful thing just to be able to represent Canberra and just to show people that if I can do it, you can do it too. My first cameo in a movie on Netflix as well, on The Combination Redemption. I got to give a shout out to George Basher. He gave me the opportunity to be on the show. He's a well-renowned actor, screenwriter, producer. I got on a movie called The Combination Redemption, which was a movie based on Western Sydney Lebanese street and gang culture. It was actually the second movie.
We be up in the club, VIP, we ain't never lining up. Fast life, what you know about us? The killer really got a nigga drunk on floor. Vodka, old scotch in my cup. See our face and they know who we are. No less 10 shots at the bar. Me and Roberts in the house, every city superstar. Fast life, right lane in the car. Came a long way, came from far. Don't be mad, but we're glad that we are the ones that really do it, and we did it from the start. Clothes on, trying to take off bra. To the crib, to the pool, to the spa. Time, money, move fast, take charge. Killer really got me seeing double no menage.
Life in the fast lane, that's what we about. Some liquor to my section right now. We gon' have us a hell of a night. Yeah, we gon' have us a hell of a night. Yeah, gotta make a sweeter life for the party. We just came to have fun, we ain't tryna hurt nobody. We gon' have us a hell of a night. Yeah, we gon' have us a hell of a night.
Have you ever been to Ghana since you arrived in Australia?
I went back to Ghana in 2005. I was 21. Obviously, I said I was...
That's a good age.
Yeah.
You really understand
man,
what's
yeah,
happening
yeah.
and you're entering the world with mature eyes.
Exactly. My whole life growing up, I knew a lot about Ghana. I read about Ghana. I knew where I was born. I just like my music and my lyrics. I guess I was really reading and getting into my background. I went back for the first time at 21 with my two older sisters, and it was just an emotional experience. I think that definitely gave me more strength and catapulted me a little bit further into what I was trying to do with my life here in Australia. Just reminding myself where I was from, kept me grounded, of course, just seeing how people live, rich and poor. There's not much of a middle class in Ghana. You're either rich or poor.
Where to from now?
Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit.
I love it. Look at this beautiful place, and there is sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit. 2023, we're just at the beginning. I've got a lot of exciting things happening, new music. I want to try and do more TV stuff as well. hopefully some more movie stuff as well. See what happens, but it feels good.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We wish you all the best with
you
your
very much.
future endeavors, and we'll be on the lookout for you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Like nicotine, tell the paparazzi. She on top, riding hard like Kawasaki. 2 fingers up, screaming, fuck haters, come stop me. Take a trip, girl, anywhere you wanna go. We both sick, girl, I got the antidote. It's murder she wrote and blood on the envelope. If you Juliet, then I can be your Romeo. Yeah, turn up the gear, girl, riding kinda slow. Turn words to pictures, girl, call me Michelangelo.